Welcome back. We are mobilizing today, lengthening and strengthening and taking the tempo down. What you need, I'm so stoked for this. You need your stability ball, your pink thing, your core band, your mats, and your person. You're my person. Okay. We're going to move through about 20 different movements, 20 different sequences, non-stop. We're to let you know when it's time to switch. Let's do this. Let's first grab onto those pink thingies. We're going to start with them. I want you to find a nice athletic stance. So that means your feet are about hip distance apart. You're firmly rooted into the ground, and we're bracing for the wind. And we're going to start by taking the band up and over. So you can find your own resistance here, whatever works best. Walk your hands a little bit closer together or further apart. But I want you to really feel that stretch across the chest, the front of the body, as you take your arms up and over. We've said this 1,000 times, and just like Joseph Pilates said, you know, we spend a lot of time with our arms in front of us. So we want to make sure that we're opening out through the chest to strengthen both sides and be nice and even. Okay, we're going to stay here for another 30 seconds. Inhale and exhale, trying not to pop through the rib cage.
We have a slight bend in the knee.
This feels so good.
It's so good.
I find there's usually a sticky spot where I feel like I could benefit from staying for a couple extra seconds, and you can do so as well. Another 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going to stop with those bands directly overhead. Okay, roll those shoulders back, and then you're going to pull into the right hand as you bend over to the right, flaring the right rib cage. Then pull the left hand up and over to go over to the left side as you flare the right rib cage. So really important, instead of focusing on compressing through the side that you're bending towards, I want you to focus more on creating space through the rib cage of the opposite side. So think of your body as a nice big accordion, and we're just fanning it open. Got 30 more seconds. Creating movement.
Baby.
Your eyes are literally rolling back in your head. Euphoria has hit Jessie. Breathe.
So because I'm still recovering from that injury, this is just like hitting all the good spots. My physio is helping to release a lot of tension I was holding.
Last one.
And so I feel like I'm almost more mobile in some weird way.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so we're going to get that pink thing down in front of you at shoulder height, and then we're pulling the band apart. So you'll notice it stays at shoulder height the entire time. Okay, shoulders are down and back, rib cage is knitted together, core is tight, and even though I'm not using my legs, they're still active. Soft micro bend in the knees, and I'm pulling up on those thighs, and I'm sending the band out, not relieving any of the resistance. So there's always a little bit of tension on the band. Okay,
So we're just over halfway, guys.
ooh,
Take it at your own pace. Today is a day for you guys to really just listen to your body, move through the movements, but at your own tempo.
oh, feels so
4 more
good.
seconds.
And, oh, okay. So we are switching it up. So we're going to give you a couple options here. I'm going to roll down to my high plank and then walk back up. Jessie's just going to come down to the ground and hold in her high plank. So if you're rolling down from the back of your mat, I want you to think of the weight of your head pulling your body down, the weight of your head and shoulders pulling your thoracic down, shoulders, head, and thoracic pulling you through the lower lumbar till your hips tilt. Then we're going to slowly walk your hands all the way out to that high plank. From there, push into the hands as you begin walking back towards your feet. Now we're going in the opposite direction, so pull the belly in, slowly restack your hips, restack your rib cage until your head, neck, and shoulders last. One more time all the way down. When we get down, we're going to stay down this time. All the way out. Okay, so let's go ahead and drop your knees. We're coming into our 4-point hover, and we're going to push into the palms, round our back up towards the ceiling for cat and cow. Okay, take a nice big inhale, drop your belly, send your gaze forward, and then find a neutral position, hands below shoulders, knees below hips, and wagging the tail from side to side. So get 2 wags in before we push into the palm again to come back to that scared cat, nice big arch in the back of our body. Inhale, gaze forward for cow, flaring the sit bones, find neutral, wag the tail, wag, wag, wag. One more time all the way through. We've got a scared cat at Halloween, and we're sinking the belly, flaring the sit bones, gaze goes forward. Come back, let's wag the tail. From side to side, feeling the obliques activate as we wag that tail. Okay, staying in your 4-point position. Take all the weight into that left hand, but activating the serratus anterior, so try not to sink into the shoulders here. Right hand comes behind the head, and if you need to take your knees a little bit wider for this, you can. Let your gaze track your movement as we open up that elbow towards the ceiling and back, okay? So a nice big rotation through the thoracic, the portion of your rib cage that's encased by the spine. Trying to keep your belly button pointing down towards the ground. Feeling the movement. And let's switch sides. Don't sink into that shoulder.
So all those tech devices, that's what we're working against right now. Trying to open up that chest.
Okay, now we're going to do the same thing except for extending the length of that lever. So that full arm reaches up towards the sky. We're not bending at the elbow and bringing it back down. Alternating to the other side. So you'll notice that your range of motion might be limited if you have any injuries or if you're quite stiff through these vertebrae of the spine. We're just trying to mobilize and move in ways that we're not used to. 20 more seconds. Oh, that feels so good. Now the temptation is to hold your breath. Really, I want you to let go of that, let go of your breath. Think of exhaling through pursed lips like you're trying to blow out a birthday candle each time you move, okay? Big exhale. Beautiful. Last one. Finish it. Oh, that felt so good. Okay, so we're flipping over onto our backs, coming into our bridge position. Go ahead and walk your heels nice and close to your bum. And when you push into the heels to lift, I want you to take one hand across the body and touch the ground over the opposite shoulder. We're coming back to our bridge before taking it to the other side. So heavy through the heels. We still want to think of activating through the glutes and hamstring. And then we're just reaching on a diagonal across the body, creating movement, breathing, controlling all your movements from your core. Reach, reach, reach. How good does this feel?
So good. A nice lat stretch. Love that.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, stay here. Okay, hands come down to the ground, or you can take them up to the sky if you want a little bit more work for your core. We're gonna push into our bridge. At the top of our bridge, lift those heels. Keep your heels lifted as you tap your bum down, then lower your heels. Lift all the way up, lift those heels, lower your bum down, lower your heels. Okay, we got it? Nice. Remember, our bridge is for our hamstring and our glute. We feel a little bit of the calves as we lift those heels. Anchoring down through the back of your shoulders. Ooh.
I like the added heel lift there.
I knew you would. I knew you would.
You know me so well.
How are we for time here? We've got 4,
3 seconds.
3,
Try and get one more in.
2. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Doing
And 1. Okay. Next up, we have our static bridge with arm arcs. So stay on the ground. What this looks like Pushing into the heels and taking the arms all the way overhead, but we're holding that bridge. Dig into the heels, squeeze the glutes, and you'll notice a nice long diagonal line from my knee all the way to the breastbone. There's no bend at the hip, and I'm not hyperextending or arching my back. It's just a nice long line, almost like we're standing, okay? Then the arms are inhaling as we take them overhead, exhaling as we take it down. Isolating the movement to the shoulder socket so my chest isn't popping, my rib cage isn't flaring as I take those arms up and over. You can always add in light weights like your 5-pound dumbbells here if you'd like. Just make sure you don't drop them on the moneymaker. I will not be held accountable.
Last one.
And down. Okay, so there's lots of sauce happening in your glutes there from that static bridge hold. Feels so good.
More.
What do we got?
Butterfly bridges.
Oh, butterfly bridge is my favorite. The ravishing Rick Rude pose. So the soles of your feet come together, knees go out to the side, okay? And we're lifting and lowering. So if you want to do the ravishing Rick Rude, take your hands behind your head. Yes. Show us how it's done, Jessie.
No.
Show us how it's done.
I knew you were going to do that. You can't cue me up
Just
like
do
that.
Do it.
No.
Show us the ravishing Rick Rude.
Oh, come on.
You're
Let's see it.
Woo!
Okay, noted. I'm going to be back for that.
I love it. Okay, pushing into the soles of the feet. You want your knees to stay pointing outward as we lift our hips up towards the sky and down. Okay, I can't see what's next, so you let me know.
Okay, now we have a nap. And all right, swimmers, let's flip over.
Flip over onto our bellies. Okay, so for this one, you want to think of anchoring down your pubic bone into the ground before you start moving. We're floating the right arm up, left leg, and then the opposite arm and leg. You can stay at a nice low tempo or pick up the speed. Think of hovering your nose just above your mat, trying to stay afloat as we paddle out through the arms and legs. This is great for your posterior chain. It lights up the entire back of your body. 18 seconds. Keep going. Let's pick up the tempo if we can. Keep going, paddle it out. 10 seconds. Breathe. These ankle weights are really adding a little bit of fire. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, so good. Okay. Staying here. Still anchoring down through your pubic bone. I want you to reach your chest forward as you float your chest off the ground. Then plant your hands next to your heart and lift into a cobra. So really important for the cobra, I want you to think of lifting your chest forward. Okay? So we plant those hands. Pull into your hands to pull your chest forward before you leave the ground. Feeling that full stretch through the rectus abdominal. So chest extension and then cobra. So that chest extension works our back body as we extend through the chest, and the cobra stretches out our front line. Feels so good. One more. Let's get one more in. How good does this feel?
So amazing. It
All right.
all feels amazing.
Okay, stay here. Let's stay here. Okay, stack your palms one on top of the other. You can bring your forehead down to the back of your hands, and now we're going to extend through the hips. That basically means we're pointing through the toes. Keep your hips heavy. Think of using your glutes to lift your legs up and back. So we're not bending the knees here. That's not why our feet are getting off the ground. Our feet are getting off the ground because our glutes are shortening to lift them up and back. For some of you, this might be a really small movement. For some of you, it might be a really big movement. Wherever you are, that's okay. The same muscles are being worked. Squeeze those glutes and lift. Try not to push your belly button into the ground here. Resist that temptation. Pull it away from the ground. We got 8 seconds. Almost there, almost there, almost there. And rest. Okay, flipping onto the side like a pancake. So laying on the right side of our body, take your right ear down to the right bicep. We're stacking our hips, we're stacking our knees, we're stacking our ankles. Then point that top toe as we lift and lower. Okay, so we're taking the hips up, taking the legs up as we extend the hips. So it's a side lying hip extension. Keep that core nice and tight. If you have a hard time balancing on the side of your body, you can always use that top hand to help stabilize you. Ooh, okay.
So mobility will look different for everybody. That's okay.
Oh, feels so good. It's amazing what these little ankle weights can do in terms of adding on to your mobility practice. Okay, like a pancake, tuck and roll over to the other side. Tuck and roll, tuck and roll, tuck and roll. Ooh. Okay, so when you're side lying, you really want to make sure that the hips stay stacked. The tendency is to sort of sink into the side here. Make sure that you're actively stacking your hips and creating that little curve between the ground and your lower rib cage. Point your toe and lift.
Do you feel like you have more mobility on one side than the other?
It's definitely a possibility, yeah, depending on your practices, right?
I'm a lot more, I have less, much less on this side than the other side.
Keep going. We've got 15 seconds left here. Yeah, my weight feels like it's doubled on this side of my body. That ankle weight.
Yeah.
Almost there, almost there, almost there. If you're using the ankle weight, try not to tap all the way down, but just hover above that lower leg. Okay, next up. We're going to stay in that side lying position. Extend both arms out in front of you, and your top knee bends to come in as a kickstand. We're going to take a nice big inhale as we open up our hearts to the ceiling. Depending on your range of motion, your flexibility, your mobility, you may not be able to open up all the way. If you can, nice big inhale and exhale. Breathe all the way through it. Never hold your breath at any point in the movement. Ooh. I want to close my eyes right now. That's the sensation.
Do it.
Okay, my eyes are closed.
We can all do it.
You can close your eyes too. Oh, beautiful. Almost there. Okay. Let's tuck and roll like a pancake. Flip it over, flip it over. We're going to get those shoulders stacked, palm one on top of the other. Get your kickstand ready, and then we are opening up.
You guys can always use your mat as a guide. So you can line up that back line with the back of the mat, and then just make sure you have 90 degrees.
Ah!
Overlapping. I'll move down.
So this is also where you might get like some little cracks and creaks, some corrections. Don't be afraid of those as long as you're not experiencing any pain. Sometimes your body can like come out of alignment by like jumping, or if you perpetually sit with your legs crossed, or if you like habitually always sit with one leg crossed over the other. I tend to sink into my hip when I'm standing and washing dishes. So these are all movements that your body are then doing so often that we form habits. So you'll form length on one side of the body and you'll shorten the other side of the body without even realizing it. So sometimes these movements can help correct those. Okay.
Seated.
Ooh, how did this go by so quickly?
I know.
Okay, we're going to come into a comfortable cross-legged position. And then, I want you to switch which leg is on top, okay? Okay, or you can sit with your bum, your heels tucked under your bum like Jessie. From here, we're just going to tuck that chin in towards the chest and roll your right ear all the way over to the right shoulder. Extend that left arm away. Take a nice big inhale, exhale, roll your chin all the way across the chest. Left ear to left shoulder, extend that right arm away. So we're going to keep working through the movement from side to side, feeling a nice release through the lateral aspect of the neck, and we're not holding each position. Okay.
Oh, that was way too fast.
I know.
Come on.
Okay, next up, we're going to do shoulder work. So I'm going to pop up to sit on my heels as well. We're going to roll our shoulders back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then extend your arms long, suction those arm bones nice and deep into the shoulder socket, and circles for the arms. Okay, we're gonna keep going in this direction till I say switch. Try to minimize the sway in your body, so the only thing moving is that arm bone in the shoulder socket, and then let's switch directions.
Enjoy it, guys, the last 12 seconds.
Before that finisher. Okay, we've got 8 seconds. Keep going, keep going. Knit the rib cage together. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Time to tap into that finisher. We're gonna come on down to the ground. First, we're starting with that high plank. So, like Jessie said, you can use your mat as a gauge. Bend your knees, the soles of your feet line up with your bum at the back of your body. Elbows directly below the shoulders. And our finisher is gonna get started in 10 seconds.